I'm Summer Lumos. I'm here with Katniss, who is the senior program manager of recruitment. And then we also have JJ Scrambler, who is the field staff manager now. She um, manages all of the lead staff and chefs. So you'll hear from her in just a little bit. Katniss, you want to go ahead and do the next slide? Okay, so we were founded in 2001 by kayaker Brad Ludden, and he's still involved, and we see him fairly often, which is really cool and I think pretty unique for a nonprofit or even an organization, company, what have you. And since then, we've been able to provide the healing power adventure to more than 14,000 individuals across more than 1,000 programs, which is an insane number to me. I can't even fathom it. And hopefully, at some point, we get all of you out on a week-long program. So that'll be great. Um, First Descents has three pillars that we kind of abide by. And the reason why you are probably all here is because of our week-long programs. We host those usually April through October every year. Um, and they consist of three main activities: rock climbing, whitewater kayaking, or surfing. And I'm not going to get too much into it. Scrambler's going to talk a little more about it in a little bit. But this just gives you kind of an idea of what we offer. Next slide, please. And if you don't feel comfortable going on a week-long program yet, or you want to get to know people in your community, we have community adventures. That is our second pillar. These are local-led meetups, usually led by FD alumni, and these are open to anybody over the age of 18. You can invite your friends, family, mom, dad, grandma, whoever you want, to these really fun activities that really help you connect with others in your community. And these are happening all the time. I think it's maybe a little bit of a slow season right now in the winter, but come spring, it really ramps up. So we'll drop a little link in there later to get to the Community Adventures webpage, but you can always check out the calendar and what's happening there. Next slide, please. And then our last pillar is lifestyle. We really focus on nutrition, especially at our program, and using food as medicine. I think Scrambler's also going to touch on this, and you'll probably hear this a lot, that it's going to be the best food you ever eat. I say it all the time. I say it to every single call. It's the best. It's beautiful, colorful, and also delicious. And then the other part of the lifestyle pillar is mindfulness. I think this is something that takes a lot of practice, and something cool that we started implementing was mindfulness and just feeling present in the moment with yourself, your surroundings, and others. And so, without further ado, I know that most of you are here for week-long program information, so I'm going to pass it off to Scrambler, and she's going to talk a little bit more about it.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Lumos. Hey, everybody out there. Thanks so much for joining. My name is Scrambler. I go by Scrambler here at FD, and let me just kind of reference that a little bit and where that comes from, and why. And I'll share, I was named Scrambler. I was a participant on a week-long First Descents trip back in 2017. And so I kind of went through the whole nickname nickname game. And so I kind of learned from the ground up. And so the way we kind of frame it, now that I'm a lead staff and a lead staff manager, we kind of help run the week-long programs. Um, Nicknames started on the very first descent program that ever happened. 25 years ago. And it was so much fun for people to just like casually give each other nicknames that by the end of the week, they all had nicknames, they all kept their nicknames, and it kind of became their first descents persona and like kind of their heart and their tie back to the community. And so it's been a tradition ever since for all 25 years. And anyhow, so I got my name Scrambler on my week long in Montana. And that's why we all go by nicknames. It's fun, it's bonding, and some people really like holding on to that kind of persona and identity and person that they discover at First Descents. It's amazing how the nickname kind of unravels through time, too. So. Anyways, that's why we all have these crazy names. So I'm Scrambler, and I'll just kind of give the lowdown of what a week long looks like, as well as what it feels like. And maybe some of y'all have looked at the website, maybe some of y'all know people that have been on a week long before, maybe some of y'all just signed up on this call last minute. So I'll kind of try and give an overview and a little bit of nitty gritty so that you know what to expect when you sign up for a trip, hopefully if it's the right fit for you. What's best for you is best for us, so no pressure. But so basically, it's a 6-day program. And like Lumos said, you're either at an amazing destination doing surfing on the ocean, whitewater kayaking on wild, beautiful rivers, or rock climbing on like scenic cliffs. Everywhere we go is super um, beautiful and really well versed for the activity. And so the 6 days, some of it is on the activity, one of those three adventure sports, and a lot of it is off activity. And so basically looks like an arrival day where you get to know each other, get to know the chefs, get to eat some of that beautiful food Luma's talked about, and then 4 days of action. And it's always a progression. So you always kind of start small. You take a little bite. We hire outfitters that are excellent educators. They know us, they know our spirit, and they're here to serve y'all, truly. And so we take these little bite-sized pieces and have a progression of adventure and learning for all 4 days. And then the nighttime of all those 4 days, you're back at the lodge or the house, whatever the property is, eating more food with the chefs, hanging out with each other. We gather every night, what we call campfire. Sometimes it's around a real campfire if the fire ban allows us, fire conditions. And that's a chance to talk to each other, get to know each other, share stories, laugh, eat dessert, all the good things. Um, and then there's a final departure day, which is, kind of logistics getting back home. And 6 days is a lot. And every single one of those days is so full and so rich. That it feels like you're there for an eternity because people get so dropped in to these spaces. You're usually in like some sort of a remote location, all living together in a beautiful house or lodge or location, sharing all your meals together, sharing your days together, going through challenge and adventure together. It's really a unique experience and and let me tell you, there's lots of reasons for people to be nervous to sign up for something like this. Plenty of good reasons, being away from home, maybe leaving your kids, maybe you've never lived in a house with 17 other people before, maybe you've never done an adventure sport outside. So there's so many reasons to be nervous, and that's okay. Us as lead staff, as well as the chefs, and we have volunteers on board, like we're there to help hold the experience, create as safe a container as possible, and meet everybody where they're at. Um, and there's 1,000 reasons that you should sign up, that you will get something amazing out of it through that nervousness, through that challenge, through those difficulties. There's so many reasons that folks do these programs and come back and volunteer and keep being involved with FD. Community is really the heartbeat of what we do. Yes, we do adventure. Yes, we practice mindfulness. Yes, we definitely eat good and have nutrition as a foundation. But community is really what it's at. And, you know, for all of y'all out there that have had a cancer diagnosis like me, it's like once in a, not, well, not once in a lifetime, but maybe for the first time in y'all's lifetime, you're in a circle of young adults that get it, that have been through some of the same stuff you've been through or something similar. You know, you can like talk about chemo like it's, just your average day at the supermarket. And people are like, yep, totally got it, And usually that ice is broken. Sometimes it takes like 10 minutes. And sometimes it takes a couple hours, but usually not longer than that. It's an amazing place to be with each other and be supported by us as staff, with all the wonderful, amazing things that we just talked about. So, yes, it's going to be challenging, and yes, it's going to be rewarding and worth it when it's the right time for you. Again, what's right for you is right for us. So, feel free to keep asking questions, especially in this Q&A here in a minute. But I'm going to pass it to another alumni on the call with us, Emoji in the house, to just kind of share about their experience. Oh, you're still muted.
There we go.
There.
God, I haven't been on a Zoom call apparently in a really long time. Also, my name is Katie. My nickname is Emoji. And now it might be interview account because that's apparently I'm logged in through my work and that's why that's what it said at the beginning. So I am so excited to be here today and tell you all about my experience with First Descents. I am currently I call myself an FDG and First Descents Geriatrics. I'm 44 years old, so I have officially aged out of the program. But I was diagnosed with ocular melanoma, a rare form of melanoma, in 2013 when I was 31 years old. I was told there was a less than 2% chance it would spread. I heard about First Descents and I I talk a lot about bandwidth in fighting cancer. Sometimes you just don't have the bandwidth for things like this. And so I kind of put it as a back burner item. And when I was 32 years old, I learned that I fell into that 2% category and I was diagnosed with stage 4 incurable cancer. It had spread to my liver, and I was told I had 16 months to live. And I didn't call First Descents right away. I was really in the thick of it, as you all know. If you're fighting cancer, you know what I'm talking about. There's the fight or flight moments, or weeks, or months, or years, and then there's the time where you get a little bit of a break, and then you can explore other things. And so I was feeling the isolation big time, and I got into treatment. It was the end of 2014 that I was diagnosed. I got into treatment at the beginning of 2015. And unfortunately for me, there were no FDA approved treatment options. So for me to get treatment, I had to travel. So I went to New York for my first trial. And it was in my second year of fighting cancer that I went to an event for my kind of cancer. And it was in Atlanta. And I was nervous to go, and I got there, and I swear to you, the theme of the conference was doom and gloom. Everybody there was a Debbie Downer. Everybody there was negative, and I knew that it wasn't good for me or my psyche or what I needed. And I actually left the program early. Um, I think it was maybe later that year or sometime in the next year that I did my first local event with First Descents. And the second I met the first person, it dawned on me, I don't need you to share my cancer. I need you to share my attitude. It was an overnight. We climbed a 14er. I was bald from chemo. I have no ACL in my left leg. I, for some reason, thought this would be a really good idea, and I did it. And I just immediately fell in love with the people that I met. And they're still to this day some of my closest friends in the cancer community. So that was my introduction to First Descent. So I will say, if you're considering a week-long program, but you're apprehensive, see if you can find something local and kind of ease into it that way. That's something that really worked well for me. But it wasn't until 2017 that I got to go on a week-long program, and it was just magical. It was such a dream. When Scrambler was talking about it, it might take 10 minutes. You're in this group, you're thrown into this group with I think there were 14 of us, and we are all like just immediately talking about side effects and pooping and your period and what's happening with that and all the things that like take, you know, years or never with the average person. And you're in this group and it's just immediately intimate. You feel safe to talk about the things that none of your friends understand. All of my friends at that time in my life were getting pregnant, and I'm like, hey, I'm just sitting here in the corner trying not to die. Like nobody understood me. I felt very just I felt very lonely. And so finding this organization with First Descents, I finally felt seen. I finally felt like I wasn't alone in this world. And then I just started collecting these friends all over the country. Um, and so when I was traveling to get my treatments, I was able to reconnect with these friends that I've made, and I'm on the First Descents community, Facebook community. If you're not already a part of that, you're welcome to join that now. I've made great connections through that. But one of my closest friends that I made during my first program with FD actually lives in Pittsburgh, and that's where I ended up having my life-saving treatment in 2020 and 2021. And so when I was in Pittsburgh for treatment, this friend, her name is TZ, was able to come and spend time with me in the hospital. And I've always been so grateful to FD for making these connections for me. And so really it comes back to community. The kayaking part for me was terrifying. I hate getting my head underwater. I don't know why on earth I picked that and not rock climbing, but I did it and it was an adventure, and the scenery was beautiful. We were in Montana. The food was the best food I've ever had in my entire life. It was clean eating, and it was perfect description. It's colorful. It was so just things that I didn't know that you could enjoy. And I felt just so taken care of on that trip. So there were 14 of us and there were 13 people there supporting us. There was a doctor there who met with every single one of us individually prior to starting the program to understand what our limitations might be, what could make us comfortable while we were there. Um, there were photographers. There was one photographer who was capturing every moment that we had, whether it was around the campfire or on the river. There were two house moms who literally were there to give back rubs or Tylenol or whatever it was that you needed, hugs. And then we had our two team leads were two of the top kayakers in the world, and then we had five professional kayakers who were there to teach us the sport. So if there's hesitation around, I've never kayaked before. I hadn't either. I've now been out kayaking. I actually went back to Montana a couple years ago and did a one-on-one lesson with my husband and one of the guides that initially taught me. Um, I'm trying to think of what else I can tell you all. Sorry if I'm like all over the place. Um, at the end of the trip, so that the 2017 trip, at the end of the trip, there was a 19-year-old guy on the trip with us, and he and I were sitting in the back seat as we were being transported back to the airport. And he looked at me and he goes, "Emoji, seriously, like, how lucky are we to have cancer? How lucky are we to have this week?" And it was just like, that is the craziest thing anyone has ever said to me. But yes, like they just made me feel lucky. The friendships I've made have made me feel lucky. And they also have what's called the ROC program, and that's available to caregivers. And so if you've gone on a program, your caregiver is eligible to sign up for a program as well. And so in 2019, my husband went on a ROC program and had an incredible time. Again, made great connections, and just the organization has just been such a godsend to us because it's also isolating for him as a young caregiver. Um, I think that's everything that was in the itinerary that you guys wanted me to cover. But I think there are a couple great things that FD has given me in conclusion is one is the connections, and two, this love of the outdoors. I wouldn't call myself a super outdoorsy person, but FD has taught me the healing power of adventure and the importance of the times in my life where I'm not feeling grounded, how important it is to get out into nature. I went on a very adventurous trip to New Zealand as a result of First Descents, and I went with Katniss, who's on here today, and her husband and my husband. And that trip was a dream as well. And so FD has really instilled in me and in us this desire to be out in nature and to connect with nature. So I'm grateful for that as well. What's next?
Amazing. Thank you for sharing. I didn't know you and Katniss went on a trip together.
Oh my God, it was a trip of a lifetime.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Um, cool. Well, in the spirit of time, we want to open it up to all of you. And if you have any questions, you can come off mute. You can throw a question in the chat. If you don't have any questions now, but you do later, Katniss, you want to switch that last slide? You all can email us, programs at firstdescents.org. But we have some time to just answer some live if anybody has any.
I will also tell you all that I'm 4+ years, no evidence of disease. So I forget to say how I'm doing now. I'm doing great now.
Yay.
Yay. Um, we have our first question. Caitlin asks, can you speak a little bit more about the living arrangements? Scram, you want
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, I'm happy to. Great question, because it matters, right? For our comfort in all the ways. And every location looks a little bit different. But generally, everywhere we go, is, like a roofed structure, like a nice home or a lodge or cabins or, like something like that. And there's usually a big kitchen because we have the chefs cooking 3 meals a day for 21, 22 people, for all those days. And the rooming situation really looks different at every location. Sometimes you have your own room, a lot of times you're sharing a room. Everybody has their own bed, right? Regardless of how many rooms. But sometimes you're sharing with one other person or two other people, and every house and lodge looks a little bit different. You're often sharing bathrooms between a few people. But the accommodations that we get are usually generally nice. I mean, like we want to make sure that folks are comfortable on this kind of like wild week of adventure that they signed up for. So if you have specific location or accommodation needs, just check in with us about what location will support you.
Thanks, Scram.
Hmm.
Um, Allie, we're gonna get to your question in a second. Rania asks, I'd love to know about the create your own adventure option. Um, Scram, you want to answer that one too?
Is the create your own adventure
Oh,
community adventure or?
I might have, yeah, maybe. We can just talk, yeah. Create your own adventure. If you are referencing community adventures or, the adventure between a week long and a local community adventure, um, let me drop Katniss, can you drop the community adventures link in there? So community adventures, Katniss is going to drop the link to the website or the web page. Um, these range from like a local hike walk to rock climbing, indoor rock climbing, surfing, supping. Truly anything adventurous under the sun. Again, some people maybe aren't ready to take the dive into a whitewater kayaking program for a whole 6 days, 5, 6 days. And so this is a really nice way to get started. And kind of like Emoji said, she wasn't she's not a crazy outdoor enthusiast. Is that what you said?
Basically. The
Yeah.
first thing I did was camping too. Like I went all
Oh,
in.
yeah. She
Yeah,
went all in. But
it was just
yeah,
nice.
you can totally push your own limits for this. You can see if any interests you, um, and choose from there. If that's what you were referring to. Um, oh, you decide what, where, when, and how we'll handle the rest of making that happen. Yeah, so if you have an idea of something, you can go look at that link, the Community Adventures link, and there is a calendar of what's happening across the country, and you can always email community at programs or community at firstdescents.org and ask any other questions you might have, and that'll go directly to our community team.
But
Um,
you can also create one. So, like, if you're in Omaha, that's where I'm from, and you don't see anything on the calendar, you can reach out to that email address and say, I want to put something together. Can you help me connect with people who might also be in Omaha? You can go to the Facebook page and say, is anyone here in Omaha who wants to get together for a hike or for whatever it is, paddleboarding, things like that.
yeah, good point. And then Jenna asked program and travel cost programs from the time you get there, meals, lodging, instruction, that's all free to you. We only ask that you cover the cost of your transportation to and from the program. So if you're flying, your flights, if you're driving, gas costs. But we do offer travel scholarships once you've been selected for a program. And those are reviewed by mostly myself and Katniss, and we just don't want finances to be a barrier. So please, if you have any questions about that, ask us. Um, we want to break down that barrier and get you out there. Tommy asks, are the shorter community events for all cities that FD is in? Oh, um, good question. Let me reread this. Are the shorter community events for all cities that FD is in all posted on the FD website as they become available? Yes. Um, so kind of like Emoji said, if you don't see one, you can create one. Um, but as they become available, as people are planning, they go up maybe 4-ish weeks before the actual event. So that's kind of like a good timeline that you could check back. And then, or are there smaller sub chats for those events in different cities? No, so everything's going to be posted in that same space, so you won't be missing anything here and there. Cool.
The
Alexandra, same
community
kind of.
adventures,
Yeah,
oh, real quick,
go ahead. No, no, no.
will be posted on the website, but then also if you inquire on our website to sign up in general for First Descents, you'll automatically be added to your local list for email updates. So you'll get an invitation anytime something's within maybe a couple of hours from you. So then you'll also be notified that way.
Really good point. Really good point. Great. Let's see. Um, Someone asked about taking meds and like a schedule and eating at certain times. We can help you accommodate. It's one of those case by case basis. So if you sign up for a program, you get selected, reach out to your coordinator and we can help you out and figure it out. I wouldn't not sign up because of that. We can make it happen.
Yeah, I'll
Especially the
just
big city.
reaffirm that we're really flexible in that and can totally support you. Ways that looks like we have meal times that are really structured at the same specific times every day so that you can work around it. Okay, great. That meal time doesn't work, so maybe we can adjust it later. Or can I save my lunch for the afternoon or something like that? And meds, we always have, a waterproof first aid kit with us that can carry meds if they need to be in a cooler or kept refrigerated. We can make that happen. We can work with you. We can set alarms. We can help you remember on the water by setting our own alarms so you can drop in or whatever. So, yeah, we can work with you.
Nice. Okay, second to last. Oh, Katniss just answered this question, but I'll just say it out loud. What's the application process like? Are we certain to get the location and date we want? So, like Katniss said, on February 2nd, um, registration opens. So, all of you probably have a login already. That's how you got our emails or maybe saw. If you don't, you can complete our inquiry form. And then that'll generate a username for you, a login, and then in case you've forgotten, your login is your email or your username is your email. Um, and you'll be able to go in and see what oncology programs we're offering, rank your top three, and Katniss and I will be in there selecting folks, and you'll hear from us around early March, and we can get the program process started from there. And yep, Katniss just asked a question about going on a community adventure. After we do a week long, yes, you can go on as many California community adventures as you want. Um, you can attend as many. And then, in the sake of time, I'm going to go back to the number one asked question from Allie. How do I secure a spot now? Um, Go fill out the inquiry form if you haven't already, and then set your alarms or put on your calendar for February 2nd to go in and rank your top programs. It, and in case you can't or in case you forget, it is not first come, first serve. Don't worry, it's going to be open for a couple weeks where you can go in there. You can email us and ask us any questions before you go in there if you are uncertain about certain things. And yeah, then hopefully we'll get you out there. And I think that's it. Um, thank you all again so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. We really hope this was helpful. This was our first one in a very long time. And so any feedback you have too would be great. If
Oh,
not,
one more
oh,
thing.
yeah,
I'm going to put a couple things in the chat for you guys. You do not have to read this, but I have a blog post on my experience, like
Mm.
I call it the ultimate cancer perk. Really like digging into what the week-long adventure was like for me. And then you're welcome if you go kayaking because I put my packing list on a blog site as well. So because like I was like, I don't know, I've never done this one before, but I've gone on a couple trips. I've volunteered for a couple trips, so I've dialed that in and included that as well. So just save that if you do end up going kayaking.
great. Thanks, Emoji. Great. Again, thank you, everyone. Have a good rest of your day, night, evening, wherever you are. We'll see you out there.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank
Bye,
you.
y'all. Yeah, thank you.